All right, it's the last day, 2024, and of course, we have to hit you with another Warhammer 40k battle report summary today. We have the two new Grotmus detachments. We got the Starshatter Arsenal against the new Astra Militarum detachment, and so if you're curious of how these two match up against each other, or maybe you're prepping for a tournament this coming month, maybe going to LVO, you're going to want to stick around because I'm essentially condensing this 3-hour game into 20 minutes. Going to give you all the juicy things that happened and more or less the things that I learned, things that worked, things that didn't work, and just passing that knowledge on to you because I truly believe if one of gets better, then we all get better. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? So y'all wanted me to go over lists beforehand, so we're going to do just that. If you hadn't seen my Starshatter list breakdown from the other day, it's the exact same list today with the no Silent King build. I would like to preface, I think if you're looking for the best list as of right now, the Silent King is the way to go, personally. But I have a feeling they are going to be FAQing that something on the Silent King coming up. So I'm just kind of preparing for that, more or less. So the Starshatter list today, we have 2 Crypto Thralls, 6 Race, 1 Technomancer, 1 Catacomb Command Barge, Imhotep the Stormlord, a Hexmark Destroyer, 1 Reanimator, a Locust Lord, 2x5 Praetorians, which are going in reserve, 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers, which are anti-tank, 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers, which are anti-infantry, 6 Locust Destroyers, 1 Doomsday 1 Tomb Blade, 1 Triarch Stalker, 5 Flayed Ones, and 3 Scorpek Destroyers. The 2 enhancements that we're running are the Chrono Field for the reroll ones to hit on the Command Barge, and then the Nebulous Scope on the Locust Lord to give the 6 Locust Brick Ignore cover. All right. So let's swap over to the button there. The guard list here. So we have 1 unit of 10 Scions, Gaunt's Ghost, 2 Psychers, 2x5 Scions, a Tank Commander, a Hydra, a Hellhound, a Leman Russ Battle Tank, 1x3 Ogrins, 5 Ratlings, 1 Scout Sentinel, 1x10 Aquilions, because they're still very good, Field Ordnance Battery, Torx Prime, 2 Torx Primes, excuse me, to synergize with the Scions. And then he is running the Bombast class Vox Array, which I believe it gives like 3 orders out for a unit within like 12 inches, which is like the go-to detachment for that. And we are playing on Lichpin with Hammer and Anvil deployment, as you can see right here. Okay, so let's flip over to our game report here. And hey guys, we got a loss. All right, we got a loss with Starshatter. We tried our best, but I'd like to say if you're not losing, you're not learning. All right. So this is going to be a very good report for y'all to see. I'm very excited about it. I think it was still a very winnable game, and there was a lot of lessons here. But I think with some tweaks to this list, which I'll talk about throughout, I think this list has some serious legs moving forward, especially if the Silent King has nerfs. All right. So going into the turn here. So battle round 1, we are on Lichpin and the Necrons are going first. Okay, so we are going to do our scout moves. So you're going to see here the Tomb Blades are scouting up here, Stalker is going to move up here, and for the first turn we get Assassination and extend battle lines. Because we are running Imhotep, it allows me to cycle a few more secondaries. So I like to just cycle this secondary first turn, and we get Established Locust, so another thing that we can score. So we're going to get Extend and Locust on the first turn. Pretty easy. So more or less what we're doing on the first turn, I'm going to show you what this basically looks like. So this dice right here is marking 6 inches essentially for the Wraith to get Established Locust. And then we're essentially stringing the race around here, okay, with the Crypto Thralls. Now, this is what I would like to point out here if you're sticking around to this end, because we're going to start dropping little knowledge things throughout. Now you're probably like, yo, Kylan, why in the heck are you running these Crypto Thralls in here? Okay, so a couple reasons. One, the old ball and chain. Yes, the Crypto Thralls only move 5, but you do notice on the deployment, you obviously have them on the front and you essentially leapfrog race, right? So you advance them up and it allows you to string the race around. Okay, this is the most important part. 1, you give up Cole the Horde, which is super valuable. 2, if you do Flyover Mortals, you're rolling 9 dice instead of 7 because there's 9 in the unit. and also it synergizes more with what we're about to do here. Okay, this is really what I want to showcase, and it's pretty cool. So we get the race on the point. So we get extend battle lines, we get Locust right here, and we pass it over to him. Now, in his turn, this is what it creates here, okay? So the race, you can use a 1 CP for a react move, D6 inches, and also you can reanimate with the Catacomb Command Barge, which is proxied as a Scorpec Lord. So I apologize. That is not a Scorpec Lord. It is a Catacomb Command Barge for right now because I don't currently own one, but I might here pretty soon. And so you get the free Resorb once per game. So essentially what you can do with the race is, let's say your opponent shifts over here resources, right? They're like, okay, they're going to take the bait. They're like, yo, I got to get these race off the point. I need to kill these race, okay? What happens is you're going to start killing these race, and then you can Resorb at the end of the turn or the end of the phase, and then all of a sudden, now what happens? Now you have race right here at the end of the turn, and then you're going to hold this objective. Or, hypothetically, he puts these rattling snipers on here, right? It's 10 OC. So he could kill these 2 race, and then same thing. Or I pull these ones here, and then I reanimate on the point, and now all of a sudden I have 12 OC, and I get it back during. Okay? So this is a really nasty combo that I'm going to need a little bit more practice perfecting because it is a little bit more technical to play. But I think on a lot of different missions and layouts, it can really cause your opponent some problems. So let's play out the turn here. So turn 1, he's going to get Bring It Down, Mark for Death. He cycles Mark for Death and gets Sabotage. He's going to cycle Bring It Down. Or sorry, not cycle Bring It Down, but he's going to try to get Bring It Down by killing this Stalker here. And then he is going to get Sabotage with like a unit here in the corner. Okay, so pretty easy there. So the Stalker, as you can see here, is positioned perfectly right here where he can't draw a line this way. And so the only thing that he can really target is with the Scout Sentinel right here. Okay. So when he shoots at the Scout Sentinel, and bear in mind, I remind him beforehand, I'm like, hey, I can do the flat 6 react move. And then, you know, all the strats, of course, like the -1 to wound. So he does fire the Scout Sentinel here. And the indirect, he doesn't do enough damage. And then we flat 6 advance onto the point just on the edge to still LOS this Hydra out. And we successfully take that point because the Stalker is OC4, Scout Sentinel is OC2, but can bump it up to 3. And so we end up taking that point. So you'll see this play out here. He doesn't actually get on the point, so I don't get the +1 to hit. But we deny the Bring It Down. He fire and phase the Rattling Snipers right here to prevent me from getting on that point. But as you guys are going to see, he killed a couple Crypto Thralls. So then what happens? Boom. It's strong, y'all. I'm telling you. I think especially also think about this. Like if your opponent draws Cleanse, if they draw like Area Denial, something like that, and you're doing this, you just denied them points. Like you potentially denied their Cleanse that they weren't expecting. Now they're only getting now they're getting 0 on Area Denial instead of like 2 points or 5, right? Or secure No Man's Land. Like, you know, again, you're not trying to like gotcha people, but it's one of those things that there's like so much going on with this unit that first turn where you're spreading them out wide to try to get either point. And then what I didn't do, which we're going to talk about, is you want to retract them back in going forward and just trying to get that strong primary at the start. So going into my turn 2, we are going to get a 13 on primary, as you can see here, because we're going to hold this point, and then we're going to hold this point and hold this one. Super strong, okay? We are going to get Engage on All Fronts and Bring It Down. So we are basically going to beeline these Tomb Blades over here. And to at least get us 2 points, we're going to basically fire on this unit, fire and fade over here, and that'll get us within that quarter. And then we're going to get Extend Battle Lines automatically with the race, and then I'm basically trying to kill stuff, right? So we're trying to kill this Scout Sentinel, we're trying to kill this Hydra, and we're trying to get rid of these Rattling Snipers are the main targets. Just kill the stuff that's exposed. That's the best I can do, and screen out your 6s. Against Bridgehead Strike Force, an easy way to think about this detachment it's like you're playing against Ret Cadre in a way, and they're essentially their Scion bricks behave a lot like the Crisis Suits units that drop in. It's just a ridiculous amount of damage. Like they're hitting on 2s and 3s with like sustained hits, like +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Like it's all like 2 or 3 damage each, like AP 2 or 3 or 4. It's just a lot of shots, a lot of volume. You do not want them in your backfield like at all. Like they're a legit threat. So in this game, it was tough because as you can see here, this was a really good stress test for the list because as you can see, I needed to screen. So I had to drop these in a little bit early to screen this 6-inch out because he could drop these Scions in the backfield, kill the Hexmark, possibly kill the Doomsday Arc. Like that's the amount of firepower these units have. Or he could drop here, kill these 2 units, and you just don't want any part of that. It would just be game breaking. So that was like priority number 1. The race fly over on this objective here. We do the flyover mortals on the Rattling snipers, and we're basically just trying to lock in our 8s at this point because our race are functioning as an anchor piece. So again, you're trying to spread them out wide and then kind of retract on 1 and then hold your 8s because you're starting to create this delta on primary. All right. Moving forward here, you're going to see more or less that turn play out. And then the Praetorians needed to drop right here as a, I didn't love this idea, but I needed to push this screen back, unfortunately. So the Praetorians needed to drop right here to push that back 9 because he had a Torox right here that was in reserve with the unit of Scion. So if he's able to swing these resources over here, drop this Torox here, and then connect everything this way, dead race, guaranteed. They would be cooked. So had to do this. I didn't love that idea, but it is what it is. So Praetorians are going here. And let's go into his turn. So turn 2, he is going to get a 3 on primary. And he's going to get engage. He is going to get... sorry, I got 4 for engage on all fronts and then 2 for bring it down because we killed the Sentinel right here. And then on his turn 2, he's going to get engage on all fronts and extend battle lines. So pretty easy, right? So he is going to basically shift up something on this objective, and he is going to be able to get into 3/4 probably right here and right here. And let's see how this unfolds here, okay? Okay. So he needs to deny this point, take care of the Tomb Blades. So this is going to fire over here, clean up this resource. These are reliably going to go up here, clean up this resource. And then these guys are going to drop here, clean up this resource. And then all of this can fire at the race, okay? Pretty straightforward turn for Tom. And I'm going to highlight the first error that I made. I think pretty big error in this game that maybe could have made it a little closer, maybe edged out a W. I got a little bit too greedy, and I wanted to potentially try to get a 13 essentially on primary again going into turn 3. And so I had the option. I did roll like a 5 or a 6 on my react move because he shot with this tank, killed a couple race. And then I had the option to react move these race behind this wall to block LOS on this tank. And I should not have done that. I should have I wanted to try to like reanimate enough to get on both points, and that was just not the right play. That was just like being too greedy. And I think that's really what kind of backfired this game in the end, and just learning opportunity for me. So we have 1, 2, 3 models left. These are going to die coherency at the end of the turn unless I can reanimate. So that's what we are going to do. Again, you can't intentionally make a normal move out of coherency, but you can pull out of coherency. So moving forward here, so we end up reanimating. He charges the Chimera in here to try to do some damage. Doesn't really do much, and then that's basically the end of the turn after the res orb here. So we will, let's see here. Oh yeah, and then we rapid ingress these Praetorians right here. So they're going to rapid ingress and try to go after these targets right here, which you're going to see that didn't really work out too well. So going into the turn, he doesn't actually end up killing the Stalker. crazy. So the Stalker ends up surviving, and we're going into my turn. So turn 3, we are going to get an 8 on primary, and we get Sabotage and Overwhelming Force. Okay, so going into this turn, pretty straightforward as far as what we need to do. There is an area, I think, oh yeah, the flayed ones are going to sabotage over here. And the overwhelming force is pretty straightforward. I think that's the biggest thing. Try to get in a habit of just like thinking about before you move any pieces, especially in a tournament setting, just think about mentally, okay, the secondaries, how am I going to score those this turn? Figure that out first before you move anything, and then go into like what are your main targets for the turn. So I know for sure I need to kill this Ogren because that's involving points. We need to kill this Chimera because that's involving points. Or not Chimera. That's a Hellhound. Tom's gonna lose it, man. He sees that. We made a joke because I call like every tank like a Chimera, and it's like a really bad habit. But yeah, that's definitely a Hellhound. Definitely a Hellhound. Okay, but all right. So we're gonna move up these Praetorians, and unfortunately, the Praetorians really didn't get to shine in this match. I am still a believer, guys. I really think they are going to be good in this attachment. I just have to get a few more reps of them to figure out how to play them correctly. But I think they are good. Okay. I believe I'm a Praetorian believer until otherwise proven. All right. But this game is kind of unfortunate because they really want to go after things on the point. And I wanted to move these guys and just clean up this resource here because I think the Ogren's dead and this Chimera is dead. So we're going to move this up. And we are going to bring in our Locust Brick as well. We're going to reanimate the race, just have one out on the point. And basically, the Locust Brick is going to fire this way, and the Doomsday Arc is going to fire here. Scorpex are our insurance policy, so they are going to connect right here just in case I don't kill the tank. I think that's the one thing I love about Scorpex in Starshatter is they allow you to punch up into vehicles. So like if you're playing in a Chaos Knight matchup or Grey Knights especially, and they have more durable pieces, on that midfield objective, and you can do some chip damage with the arc and then clean up with the Scorpex is a really good combo. So the anti-infantry guns are going to, I don't think they really had any targets. I think they just tried to do some chip damage to this Chimera, which we ended up popping it. So we'll fast forward here. So we cleaned up both of those resources, got overwhelming force for 5. And the Praetorians unfortunately charged in, and they whiffed, guys. Did not do well. He killed 2 on I think an overwatch, or no, a 2 I couldn't connect because they were up against the wall. And then because they whiffed so bad, not so bad, but it was pretty bad. He was able to pile in and still get enough OC on the point to actually take it. So we might have been able to actually even give him a 3 going into battle round 3, but that was not the case. But every other target we killed this, all the main ones. And then this is the one thing I want to highlight again with the Locust Destroyers, another Easter egg. I'm kind of done with this unit. Hot take. The more games I play with them, I think there's just a lot of situations where they're just kind of a dud, and I feel like you can just play around them because the big synergies you want to hit something that's on a point. And a lot of times there's not something big and juicy on a point that you want to go after. They want to go after tanks and like more durable pieces. Yeah, if you're playing Grey Knights or a couple other matchups, yeah, sure, they're great in those scenarios. But there's a lot of matchups I think they're just not that good in. And I think there's better options for like 275 points. So I know they're in the list right now, but currently I am just cutting them. I think you just put in another arc, to be honest. If you have to, I think that's just going to go farther than the 6 brick personally, but maybe you can find a way to make them work. I'm just not really super in love with that unit. So they fired in, they got this down to like 5 wounds because not on a point. You don't get any rerolls other than 1s because it's like the closest enemy model, and that was it. So going into his turn 3, he is going to get an 8 on primary because he controls this objective and he controls this one. So we almost gave him a 3, but the Praetorians whiffed. And he is going to get a Storm Hostile and behind enemy lines. So a good pull for them, a good pull for him this turn. So he's going to Storm here. This is actually a really good sequencing that I believe is correct. So Storm Hostile is at the start of the turn, And so at the start of the turn, I technically controlled the objective, but during the command phase, he can do the OC blip aura or OC blip order, and it allowed him to out OC me on the objective during the command phase. So technically, he would get those Storm hostile points. I believe that is correct. If I'm wrong, let me know. I wasn't like 100% certain, but I felt like as far as order of operations, that would make sense. I was like, yeah, I controlled it at the start technically. You out OC'd me in that point, you get the Storm hostile. So he got the 4 points automatically there, which was super nice. And then he is going to get behind enemy lines right here. He's going to drop in these Aquilons right here. Unit of 10. X-Mark goes in, fires at him, kills like, I think 3 or 4 guys. Not really much to snuff about. And then he, let's see here. Actually, let me back up here. So then he's going to swing over this tank. He's going to bring in more resources right here. And he's basically just trying to kill these 2 resources this turn. It's going to put him in a pretty good spot. And he does exactly that. So you're going to see here screening out 9, screening out 9. And yeah, it's just not good. It's just not good. Definitely a couple things I maybe could have done differently here. I think it was just the I got too aggressive with the race, so he killed more than should have, so I couldn't heal them back enough. And then just kind of parking a lot of myself here because the footprint is so big, and even with the flat 6 advance, I couldn't like stay fully out of LOS of some of this and just got cooked. So he actually got both units like on the nose, as you're going to see this unfold here, and that was it. And that just shows you, like, I mean, granted, yeah, there's a lot of activations and firepower, but this detachment can hit. Okay, it is very reliable damage. Very good. So it was good to see. And so that's essentially what the board state looks like. Bottom of 3. So he's going to get behind enemy line, Storm hostile, pass it over to me. Looking pretty rough for the Crons at this point. I'm kind of looking at it as like a teams match right now. Like, how can we get a little scrappy and get as many points as possible? This is just a good learning opportunity as well. Like, play out your games. Like, don't be discouraged. Like, there's so much more learning that can happen in turn 4 and turn 5. Like, play it out. Like, you know, and especially like in teams, like, it's really good practice because you're fighting for every point. So going into turn 4, we only get a 3 on primary. Unfortunately, we just get our home field, and we have defend stronghold and containment. Based on the board state, there was no way I was going to be able to hold defend stronghold because I'm losing resources and couldn't screen the 6s out effectively enough. So couldn't get defend. We cycle that, and we get Cull the Horde, which you can't do, and then mark for death. So got a lot of duds as far as secondary goes, which is unfortunate. And I can only contain with 1 unit, which was the flayed ones. So basically for my turn, I'm just trying to limit his scoring. So we're moving up the Locust Heavies. We're going to fire here, clean up this unit. Give him still a 3 on his primary. Obviously, he's going to secret mission because we kept him down because he's going second. And then all of these resources are going to shift over here, just try to kill as much as we can. Doomsday Arc, same thing, is going to fire down here. So you're going to see that play out. And that is basically the turn. So we end up cleaning up quite a bit, or about as we expected. And going into his turn, it's still just not going to be quite enough. I totally forgot to charge this reanimator into this unit, but whatever. Friendly practice game. No big deal. So going in his turn 4, he's going to get a 3 on primary again. And then he's going to get Assassination and Cleanse. So that was perfect because Catacomb Command Barge is right here. So he's going to get Assassination. And then he definitely cleanse on 2 objectives. He just moves on this one, call it a day. So you're going to see that play out here. And basically going into turn 5, I'm going to get a 0 on primary because he kills Imhotep. Can't sticky it by any means. And that is pretty much the game. So we still killed a lot. He gets a 20 because he gets a secret mission. There was potentially a world that I could have denied his secret mission if I maybe would have sequenced. Like if I moved the Catacomb Command Barge over here and like fired some of his more of his lethals and this maybe spiked, I could have maybe like killed this unit and then maybe deny his secret mission and potentially could have won. It was, I mean, it's still very close. I mean, it's not like a landslide by any means. But with that said, yeah, this if you stuck around this long, uh, seriously appreciate you watching. And yeah, just a couple other lessons as far as this detachment. I think, yeah, again, looking at it like Ret Cadre is a good way, I think, of looking at it. You definitely need to screen your sixes with this against this detachment, because they punch, and it is reliable damage. And I think, yeah, the two biggest things, the Praetorians. I think in this, again, with this build, I felt like I was one unit short of like being in a sweet spot. And I have made some tweaks to this list, which you guys will see in the coming weeks, that I think will make it play much better. And I'm still very much a believer in the Praetorians. I think personally, I think you cut out the Locust Brick and you bring in another arc. I think the two arcs are good. Definitely not three, but I think one or two. And everything else I think felt really good. I think trying again, still want to experiment with the Praetorians a little bit more. And yeah, overall great rep. And yeah, that's it, boys.